Hi guys, and welcome to Backstage. I'm your host, Anastasia.
And I'm your host, Maeve. And today we have a very special episode. We will be investigating a murder.
In this journey, we will be traveling through the snowy mountains of Europe on the most famous train in literary history, the Orient Express.
The iconic novel, Murder on the Orient Express, was written by the well-renowned Agatha Christie and was first published in 1934.
She developed an intricate plot, complex characters, and, of course, a shocking twist. The train is stranded in a snowstorm, 10 passengers aboard, which include a murder victim with a secret past, and a detective eager to discover the truth.
The Stuart Arts program has put on its mystery hats and is adapting Christie's work. In today's episode, we will be meeting with a very special guest to discuss the life and the legacy of Christie and of Stuart, and what makes a mystery like Christie so timeless.
So get comfortable and enjoy the ride along the Orient Express.
Ooh, aboard the Orient Express!
Wait, Maeve, I think that's our train.
We gotta go, guys! Hi, Miss Baldwin!
Hi!
Hello, Backstage friends!
Can you explain a little bit about who you are and your part in the making of this production?
Yes, I would be happy to do that. I am the director, artistic director, and stage director for the Upper School Fall Play production of Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. It has been made into, many times, into movies, and this is the staged version, which is something of a challenge.
Let's jump in. What was the inspiration behind choosing the Murder on the Orient Express?
Stuart has, for the last several years, only done comedies as the Upper School Fall Play. And this year we wanted to stretch our actors and stretch our audience by trying to do something that was a straight play. It involves a lot of characters, which gives an opportunity to young performers to try to find a different character than who they are. What a great opportunity to learn how to step into somebody else and see their life through their eyes. They do a lot of character backstories and a lot of work to understand what is the motivation for each one of these characters that come together on this mysterious trip on the Orient Express, and what are they really doing there? It's very exciting. It's a challenge.
Wait, can you talk a little bit about the backstories? Do they have to do some research on it?
Absolutely. The era that this is set in is 1930s, and it is in Europe, so it is just before World War II, and that sort of influences costuming. It influences how they speak. The characters are from all sorts of different countries. We have a character from India. We have a character from Russia. At that time it was called Russia. We have characters that are French and Belgian, and we have a couple of very bold Americans as well. So looking into their backstories and realizing that each one of these characters on this train have a secret allows them, as the actor, to hold two dualities in their mind at the same time. Who they really are and who they are in this journey on the train. And I can't give away the ending,
Yeah.
but everybody has a secret.
Yeah. You touched a little bit about how it was difficult to portray this novel. How do you think you'll be portraying fear and guilt and especially violence? I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But and also how are you gonna do the set? I know it's based in a train, so how do you think you're gonna do that?
Let me start with the set, because I think that's the exciting part of this. Mr. Cupid and I had many long conversations even before we chose this about how we were going to portray a train in the Stuart Little Theater. And what he has come up with is a brilliant plan, and the very first time that we have ever had a rotating stage.
Wow!
Oh my
Therefore,
gosh, that's
when they climb onto the train, it will actually rotate between the main car where Poirot does all of his investigations into the smaller carriages on the opposite side where we see people that are sleeping and ultimately where the murder takes place. We of course are going to use not a lot of violence, and we're going to keep the lights pretty low so that you will not be afraid. But we will use a little bit of stage blood, which could be exciting for us as well. And in terms of the props and getting ready for this era, the costumes are going to be very specific to this era as well, so that when you walk in, you will feel like you're in the 1930s. It also has a ton of music, which will also set the stage for the audience as they move into this space.
I'm really excited. We just recently watched it, and it's just so emotional and, like, just beautiful, just, like, with the costumes and even, like, the script. It's so pretty. Yeah.
It's a terrific show. And the stage version is quite difficult because now that you've seen the movie and people can so easily move from place to place, that's not the case in live theater. We actually have to have people physically move from space to space and change locations in front of the audience. So we're working on that as part of the seamless transitions. We also have a full female cast. So our students will be playing a different gender. So we're costuming that as well.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So do you think the novel portrayed any kind of feminism?
In many ways, this particular production is propelled, and I, again, don't want to give away the whole story, but it is propelled by an original sort of semi-violent act with kidnapping, and it is one particular character who is female who brings this group together to seek some retribution and justice for the crime that was originally committed. So in many ways, it is really propelled by a very strong female character, even though Poirot figures it out.
Are there any major differences between the dramatic play compared to the novel?
Yes, the novel is quite long and in great detail.
I've seen the script. It's like so much smaller. It's, I don't know how.
The novel is amazing. I read it and it's so good. And compared to the movie, it's very different, I would say.
It is. And I will say that the stage play is a little bit closer to the novel version than the movie. The movie takes a lot of license with some things. And I was even surprised by the movie because some of the characters are inherently different than the way that the novel portrayed them, but the stage production is a little closer to it. We have made some adaptations that work better for our student body, but we are trying to stay as close to the novel characterization as we can, but again, it is so much shorter, we can't do the detail that's in the novel. But remember, when you're reading a novel, that all of this is imagination in your head. So it has to be in detail so that you can almost see a movie as you're reading. But with a stage play, it can be condensed because there's a visual language that fills in a lot of the blanks. You don't have to say that he is going to pick up the phone and dial a number. He simply picks up the phone and dials a number, and you see that. So that allows it to condense to a play version pretty easily.
In one word, how would you describe this show?
Riveting.
Oh, that's a really good word.
I like that word because it does, if you have not read the novel or seen the movie, it does propel you into a very different world, and you're not quite sure, quote unquote, who done it until the end. And therefore, you have to be sort of paying attention to all of the little details and the little nuggets of information that are dropped throughout the play in order to begin to see how they connect the dots so that Poirot will make the decision that he makes. And this is a case that Poirot is haunted by for the rest of his life, and you will see why at the very end of the play.
I feel like I miss very specific details that Agatha Christie includes in the novel, but towards the end I'm like, oh, that makes sense why. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah.
I think that's her gift
as
a
definitely.
writer. She absolutely drops little hints, but they go by so quickly
Yeah.
that you don't connect the dots
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
Poirot connects the dots for you, which is really exciting. You're going to love all the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're truly well-rounded characters. And it takes place in some exotic locations.
Yeah.
We open in Istanbul, so we're in a cafe in Istanbul, and we're going to make that look sort of cool. And then on the train, of course, which the Orient Express still exists.
Oh, actually.
It's a real thing?
It's a real
I had
thing.
no idea.
Yeah, and it's quite elegant and elaborate, and it goes between Paris and Istanbul. It still
oh my
does.
gosh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's amazing. I did not know
Yeah, I
that
didn't
at all.
know that either.
I think also watching the movie, well, I didn't read the book. Oops. But I when watching it, I had no idea who did it. And also I'm not really much of like a mystery girl, like a mystery watcher, and this is kind of like the first mystery I've ever known, I guess. And it was just so amazing. And also just the way it was acted out, it could have been any one of them, which I mean,
Don't give
Yeah.
it away.
don't give it
Dave.
away, but I was never bored with it, and I was just always along the train. I really felt like I was in it, kind of like I was El Coupero.
Exactly right. We're working on the pronunciation for all of that. Of course, we have to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you planning on doing are you doing French accent?
We are.
Oh yeah. Oh my.
Yes.
We are. And it is quite difficult sometimes because our American ears are not necessarily attuned
Yeah.
to hearing accents. So we are working on slowing our dialogue down enough that our audience will be able to follow what we are saying. In a movie, because the microphone is right in front of their face on a boom, it's pretty easy to understand accents. But because we're not using microphones and we're in a fairly small but cavernous location in the Stuart Little Theater, we have to over-enunciate. We have to slow down so that the audience will follow everything that's going on. And both the characters of Bouc and Poirot are both Belgian and have French accents. Blessedly, we have a lovely world language department that's helping us.
Okay, moving on. How will you incorporate your own directing styles while preserving Agatha Christie's legacy?
Well, we have to do some sort of adaptations just for the fact that we are in the Stuart Little Theater and not in a larger space. We also have students that are newish to theater, and therefore we have to do a lot of backstory and character work. We are keeping as true to Agatha Christie and maintaining the storyline as best we can. We're staying absolutely true to the script as well. We had originally thought that we would make Poirot a woman, but I think that we might be in trouble with the publishing house, therefore we're going to not do that. Instead, our students will be portraying Poirot as a man without a mustache, because that's just silly pants.
Iconic mustache.
I know. So we did have to eliminate that out of the script. But we are staying as true as we can. It's very exciting. My through line is teaching these young students to know how to carry a secret and fake being other people at the same time, in order to bring the audience along the ride, the journey to who did this and what is the reason behind it, which is really important. Learning to take the perspective of somebody else and how they feel is imperative in theater.
Also, I was just going to ask, what do you think, what type of audience do you think this is going to be, catered to? A younger audience or,
I do not think that the youngest of our population at
No,
Stuart
yeah.
Country Day School will be inherently excited about this because it's over their head. And frankly, the fact that there is, a mystery murder involved with it, I would not want them to come to see this production. But I think anything from probably grade 7 up and realizing that theater is just, not real would be helpful. I know that a lot of adults would want to come and see it because they're aware of the novel and they would want to see how it's being portrayed. Yeah. And I'm hoping that the whole upper school will come out in droves just to support their
We'll be there.
Yes, their fellow students. And
I'm so excited.
friends.
And to conclude that, how do we get the tickets?
Tickets, amazingly,
Yes.
are already online.
Wow.
You can purchase them through our website. They are $10. You can also buy them at the door if you want to, but it is much easier if you do it online. And it's posted and up and ready to rock and roll already. And we will have posters around, and we're working on everything else.
Does everyone
It's
hear
still
that?
Yeah, everyone
5
hear
weeks
that.
away,
Buy
so
your
get your
tickets.
tickets.
Buy tickets now.
Do we need to know anything else?
No. Thank you
Oh,
for inviting
I'm
me to talk about, Backstage. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
I'm very
thank you
grateful.
so much for coming here today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We had so much fun.
It was so much fun. Thanks so much. Invite me again.
Yes.
Adieu.